From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, November the 18th, 2025. An Israeli man was killed and 3 others injured in a terror attack today in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank. The incident took place at the Gush Etzion junction, where 2 Palestinian terrorists initially tried to ram their vehicle into pedestrians at the junction, and then one of them got out of the vehicle and started stabbing the victims, killing 71-year-old Aaron Cohen. The IDF said IDF soldiers eliminated 2 terrorists at the scene. Several explosive materials were found in the vehicle used by the terrorists. IDF soldiers, it said, are conducting searches and roadblocks and encircling the area. One of the injured is said to be a man in his 30s in good condition. A 15-year-old teenage boy was also hurt. He is said to be in moderate condition, and a woman in her 50s who was apparently mistakenly shot by IDF soldiers was in serious condition and undergoing surgery. The United Nations Security Council voted yesterday to adopt a U.S.-sponsored resolution authorizing the establishment of an international stabilization force in Gaza in support of the comprehensive plan, it wrote, announced by U.S. President Donald Trump on September the 29th. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz called the resolution historic, saying it represents another significant step towards a stable Gaza that will be able to prosper and an environment that will allow Israel to live in security. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu welcomed the vote today, saying true to President Trump's vision, this will lead to further integration of Israel and its neighbors, as well as expansion of the Abraham Accords. Adding, we expect to receive all of the deceased hostages with no delay and to begin the process of disarming and demilitarizing the Gaza Strip and ending Hamas's rule over Gaza. Jewish organizations welcomed the vote and urged its implementation, including the World Jewish Congress, who said the vote represents an important step toward restoring and rebuilding hope in Gaza 2 years after the horrific October 7th terrorist attack. It is now incumbent upon the international community to approach this mission with seriousness, unity, and a firm commitment to ensuring that Gaza can never again be used as a base for terror, saying as these diplomatic and security efforts move forward, the bodies of the 3 remaining hostages must be returned so they may be laid to rest with dignity and the burial they deserve. Some 6 Jewish Israeli extremists were arrested last night after clashes with Israeli security forces as those forces dismantled an illegal outpost in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank. A number of officers were injured in those clashes. The IDF said IDF forces, border guard, police, and police rushed to the village of Jebba following a report received about dozens of Israeli civilians who set fire to and damaged homes and vehicles in the area. The IDF strongly condemned the incident, as did Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying, today I view with great severity the violent disturbances and the attempts to take the law into their own hands by a small extremist group that does not represent the residents of Judea and Samaria. I call on the law enforcement authorities to deal with the rioters to the fullest extent of the law. Well, 130 years after he was wrongfully accused and convicted of treason, French Jewish Army Captain Alfred Dreyfus was posthumously promoted, an act of reparation and recognition in one of France's most notorious cases of anti-Semitism. French President Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu signed into law yesterday that the French nation posthumously promotes Alfred Dreyfus to the rank of Brigadier General. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, November the 18th at 7 o'clock. Donniel, Hartman, and Yossi Klein Halevi consider issues of betrayal, tolerance, and unity in a conversation about whether some positions cross from legitimate dissent into existential threat. At 8, Justin Pine speaks with departing UJA-Federation CEO Eric Goldstein, who reflects on his 12 years of leading the Jewish world's largest local philanthropy. At 9, Scott Shay is on L'chaim. At 10:30, an encore of the news. And coming up next, it's the ILTV's Insider. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, November the 18th, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.